News is not news. It is entertainment for the rubes. It is a propaganda channel that is a well documented liar. They've had to pay $1 billion in settlements for lying to their customers, and their customers still run back every day to get a serving of the hate, lies. And at the end of the day, their number one mission is to build up McCankle's taco tits. Like that's what, and they're making billions of dollars for it, that they paid $1 billion settlement and they're still going. It's bananas. But I like to check in with what they're covering with all of this Epstein stuff, because they used to cover that all the time. Well, let's take a little check in here. Media Matters reports that since this Monday, Fox News has spent 85 minutes covering an American Eagle commercial featuring Sydney Sweeney, devoting over 20 segments to it. In the same time period, Fox spent just 3 minutes discussing the Trump administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. I had no idea what was going on with the American Eagle commercial until I saw this tweet. So then I researched it, and there's this whole conspiracy theory right now going on Fox News and on the right-wing media algorithm, wherein they have manufactured that white liberal women are madder than hell about this American Eagle ad because the actress or the model Sweeney says, American Eagle, I have great genes, Jeans. And Fox News is alleging that on the right, everybody's losing their mind saying it's Nazi propaganda. Number one, could give two shits about the American Eagle ad. Her saying, I have great genes. I could give two shits about it. We have much larger fish to fry. But this reminded me of a couple of years ago, I had this interior design client, and I'm at her house. And I, delivered some furniture. And as I'm leaving, and I knew she always had Fox News on in the background, but she had said to me, like, I just can't believe what's happening. And I said, what's happening? And this was during the Biden administration. And she said, you know, on the left, they want people to call their mothers birthing people. And I'm a mom. Are you a mom? Do you want your kids to say, hey, birthing person? And I go, I've literally never heard of this, Amy. I've never heard of that this is a thing. And so I get in the car, get back to the office, go on Fox News, and it's this big thing. The left wing is they're killing the word mom, and everybody has to call everybody birthing people. And this is what Fox does. They manufacture this faux shit like the litter boxes,
Right.
that mean nothing when literally the world is on fire. And if you're in this disinformation entertainment channel, then you're wound up about this stupid shit, like this American Eagle ad, which I literally could give two shits about. I don't shop at American Eagle. I don't even really know who Sydney Sweeney is. I don't really give a fuck about any of it.
Same. I was like, what are they talking about? Even when I read it, I was like, I still don't get it. Fox News uses the same playbook that Donald Trump uses. Manufacture a crisis in Los Angeles, and then we're going to send in the National Guard and act like we've solved the problem. That's what they do. And I would say it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. No one would buy this, except that the trans rights commercials that they ran during the election, when there's like less than 10 trans athletes, they hyped them up so much you would have think they snorted cocaine. But I look at Fox News and I think everybody is talking about the Epstein files. Everybody in your listenership is talking about it. You whipped it up, and now you're giving 3 minutes. And if they're not talking about that, they're talking about Joe Biden or trans athletes. When are you going to make Donald Trump take accountability?
Never.
Never.
And they're never going to. And the thing, my larger point with this is they manufacture something for their base because their base's whole ethos is own the libs.
Right.
We hate the libs, and is in firing up this civil war, culture war among the American people. And when I'm ever around right-wing people, you immediately know that they're in the right wing because they'll say something about this that if you're not in that algorithm, you have no idea. I'm in a liberal algorithm all day, every day. I've not seen one person upset about this American Eagle commercial. Yet Fox News has been covering it since Monday. I think I can't remember, it's over 80 stories or something about it. It's completely manufactured. Right. It doesn't exist because the whole ethos is own the libs. That's all they have. But in getting to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, this is some pretty juicy tea. CBS, pop this up, Kylie. Christopher Webb tweets, it just keeps coming. CBS just uncovered a mystery third person caught on jailhouse cameras the night Epstein died. Not named, not mentioned in the DOJ report. Spotted near his cell just after 4 a.m., 2 hours before he was found dead. Why now? Somebody wants this information out. All right, go to the headline. Daily Beast reporting mystery third person seen on Epstein prison video on final night alive. So here's what I have to say. If we know about this and we're just asking questions, and I'm asking critically thinking about questions here, Jeffrey Epstein was incarcerated under Bill Barr and Donald Trump's rule during the first term, and they were in charge of him, and he was a federal inmate. And we're just now finding out that 2 hours before he was found dead, there's a mystery person at the front door of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. And so does this mean, and again, I'm just asking a question, that Trump 1.0 had him taken care of? Because it seems like this should be fully investigated.
Well, it seems like it should have been fully investigated a long time ago. And I blame Merrick Garland for the fact that it wasn't investigated properly under Biden. Do I think that Trump is capable of overseeing something like that? There's nothing I wouldn't put past him. There's no moral depravity that I wouldn't put past him. But I see this and I think, we're going on, we're going on 3 weeks of we've changed the metadata. Now we have this new person. At some point, we've got to get the real evidence. It makes me so happy that Robert Garcia, in charge of the Oversight Committee, has subpoenaed this information because I trust him to take a look at it with a critical eye.
I don't trust that he's going to get the correct information, though, Angie.
That's the point.
I mean, they're already cooking the unemployment rate information. They're already cooking the books on the financial data surrounding the United States economy right now. I think it's very telling that Moses Mike Johnson closed down Congress for well over a month. And it seems to me like that's just allowing everybody at DOJ time to cook the books, to manufacture evidence. And they 100 million% will do this because we know that Donald Trump, before he was ever in politics, would call reporters and lie and say that he was some other person to give favorable news stories about himself. But the journalists recognized immediately that was Donald Trump's voice. This man is a pathological liar. But it gets worse. Here's more tea on this. Okay, the journalist Wolf reports, now Epstein's explanation for why his friendship ended is as follows. In 2004, Epstein believed himself to be a high bidder on a piece of real estate in Palm Beach, a house. His bid was $36 million. He took his friend Donald Trump around to see the house to advise him on how to move the swimming pool. Trump thereupon went around Epstein's back and bid $40 million for the house and got the property. Epstein, who was well acquainted and in fact deeply involved with Trump's scattered finances, understood that Trump didn't have $40 million to pay for this house. Now, if that was the case, it was someone else's 40 million. At the time, Epstein believed this to be the $40 million of a Russian oligarch by the name of Rybolovlev. Less than 2 years later, this same house that Trump had bought for 40 million was sold for 95 million. And in fact, it was sold to the Russian oligarch, Mr. Rybolovlev. This is all a red flag of money laundering. And what Epstein did and he was furious about losing this house. I mean, there's something about these guys, these men, that nothing rouses them so much as a real estate betrayal. Epstein, after this, the sale of the house, after Trump went around his back, got this house, Epstein began to threaten with lawsuits, with going to the press and saying that Trump was a front man for a money laundering deal. Trump panics at this point, and Epstein believed that it was Trump who went to the police, and Epstein said, dropped the dime on him. That is to say, informed the police of what was going on, and an investigation began, and all of Epstein's legal problems for the next 15 years began to unfold. This story about this piece of real estate and their falling out was first published in June of 2019. It's published actually in the Wolf, the journalist, in his book Siege, the second book he had written about the White House. Epstein had recounted this story to me. I put it in this book. Epstein, at that moment, was in Paris. He read the book. He called me with some alarm, and he said that he was afraid that he might have said too much. 3 weeks later, he returned to the United States from Paris and was promptly arrested on the tarmac of Teterboro Airport in New Jersey when his plane landed. So, in summarizing this, Epstein was calling Trump out for having money laundering for a Russian oligarch. And then clearly, Trump bought the house for the oligarch and made some money on it. And Epstein was threatening to sue him. And then Trump is the one that was the whistleblower on all of Epstein's nefarious abuse, horrific abuse with these children. Trump was a whistleblower. Trump's the one that started this investigation. And there you have mutually assured destruction between these two men. So when Epstein gets into custody, and then he ends up getting this sweetheart deal by Alex Acosta, Epstein is obviously, probably before he died, kept saying, I'm gonna whistleblow on you, motherfucker. You've been to my parties, you've been with these girls, something, because clearly Trump is into this up to his eyeballs. But this to me is just some piping hot tea about what the relationship, how deep it is, and how deeply complicated, and how simple it is. This tit for tat is total earmark of Trump's personality and his behavior as to why this keeps getting deeper and deeper.
Well, it's so interesting because I knew a long time ago Trump was in the Epstein stuff up to his eyeballs.
I did too.
Because we just paid attention and we read factual reporting, and we paid attention.
What do you think about this reporting that Trump was the tattletale?
I think I can totally believe it, because I also think it explains a lot about Trump's relationship with Russia. And we've long suspected that Trump is somehow involved with Putin, the oligarchy, because he's Putin's lapdog.
Well, it's not even just suspected. There's been reporting that that's true.
So this surprises me zero. The fact that Trump was unable to look in the future and think, if I rat out Epstein, he's going to rat out me. It doesn't surprise me. He wasn't able to conceptualize that, because he's just the very next thing. He's so transactional. Surprises me zero. I believe every word of it.
Okay, so now that all of this is going down, if you get in outside of the Fox entertainment hate channel, and that's what it is. They manufacture hate for hateful people all day, every day. It is a channel for hateful people. But if you get outside of that bubble, Taco Tits polling with independents, you guys, is abysmal. Play the clip.
What group are we talking about, Harry?
We are talking about independence, Mr. Berman. I will say this is the biggest warning sign, the biggest danger sign for President Trump in his second term so far. Why is that? Because it does not appear that there is a bottom to which Donald's support can't fall to. What are we talking about? Trump's not approval rating with independents. There was all this hubbub about Gallup that came out this past week. You see, back in January, it was minus 2 points. Now it's minus 35 points. But what's important here is Gallup is largely matching the average. Back in January, in the average, Trump's net approval rating with independents was minus 3. Look at where it's fallen to now, minus 29 points.
Okay. This is where I want to give everybody just a little bit of hopium, because it is so daunting watching what this man does. It's so daunting watching what this government does. It's so disappointing at times seeing the resistance being somewhat lackluster. And I have empathy with every person that is an American, or those of you that are abroad watching us. But all of this shit is exaggerated. The MAGA support is grossly exaggerated. Now that people are reminded, people that don't follow the news cycle all the time, they are reminded of just how breathtakingly incompetent and dementia ridden and horrific this man is. He is so underwater and continues to be so. And so I say this because we have the midterms that will be fast approaching in a year and a half. And there is a little glimmer of hope. And Trump has recently, announced all of these improvements on the White House. He doesn't have any intention of going anywhere. And I know that a lot of times we all feel helpless and we feel hopeless. And I want to remind you that that is the desired effect of dictators. That is the desired effect of fascists, to wear you out, to exhaust you, to where you no longer care. But now is the time to lock in and care more, because we've got to get to these midterms. We have to move our base away from special interests so that we have a party that can absorb these independents, and that we can have a blue fucking tsunami and impeach this motherfucker once and for all. All right, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. We are getting dangerously close to 1 million subs. And also, please make sure you buy our book, Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. It's a light read, all the juicy tea about Mayan Pump's fuck ups. And trust me, they were abundant. And we'll see you all later.